From improving factory efficiency to helping industries reduce energy cost, ELGi continues to push the boundaries of compressed air technology. Joining us at Intech 2026 is Dr. Jairam Bharadwaj, Managing Director of ELGi Equipments, to share how innovation is shaping the future of manufacturing. So, I was just going through the booth. I could see a host of products that talks about energy efficiency and sustainability. Yeah. So, what are the current shifts you are seeing within the customer segment, especially?
So, obviously, when you look at the life cycle cost, right, which is the most important cost, 70 to 80% of your cost is life cycle. The upfront cost is only about 10%, right? So, in that life cycle cost, energy is the biggest element, right? So, the main thing is to keep innovating and building new products that are more and more efficient, right? That's one dimension. The other is on the environmental part. There is a lot of oil that goes into the use of compressors. Now, how can we either eliminate the oil or extend the life of the oil? So the whole idea is the life cycle cost reduction for the customer. Now, having said that, the upfront cost, which is 10-12% of the whole life cycle cost, is still a factor, especially when you start looking at large machines. So how can we reduce the cost using technology rather than cheap Indians? As a principle, we want Indians to be expensive, right? So we don't want to build a product or depend on very low cost resources as a means to be competitive. So which means we have to dig deep into technology, which is something that we do. So for instance, we look at our motors, right? 3 years ago, we decided to make our own motors. Today, we make motors that are at or lower cost than the Chinese, but we are using expensive Indian. We are not using cheap Indians, right? So and that's primarily by using technology in the design of the motor, technology in the principles of the motors, right? We provide the longest warranty in our motors, and we are able to get very high efficiency in our motors and low cost. So it's a technology-driven solution.
So would you like to mention a few of the products that you are showcasing right now here?
So for instance, this is our water-injected compressor. This is a way to eliminate oil without compromising on the energy cost, right? So typically, oil lubricated compressors are more efficient than oil-free, yeah? But this is a in-between, where we have removed the oil but improved the efficiency. So it's effectively an oil-free compressor at a very high level of it. So that's an example. We have another compressor which is called the demand match technology, where we are able to save up to 17% on the energy cost per customer.
So how do you tell your customers by, you said that you don't compromise with the quality, you don't sell a cheap product. Yeah. So how do you create a kind of environment or a kind of inability that talks about cost efficiency, that talks about energy efficient product, at the same time those are intelligence?
Yeah. When we are sitting in front of a customer, different customers have different requirements. They're not the same. We need to deeply understand what is the customer's requirement, customer's pain point, and not just sell a machine, but sell a solution to the customer. And the solutions are not the same, they are different. Yeah.
In the press conference, you are talking about your strategic plan for 5 or 7 years. So what are the capex plan you have?
Yeah. So we are planning, and we have announced this even a few years ago. So we have a factory in the city, and our main campus is about 40 minutes outside the city. Our plan is to move all production to our main campus so that there is higher efficiency, logistics, and all that is more productive. So towards that, we have earmarked about 600 crores. The first phase work is done One part of the first phase has already been completed. So progressively over the next 4-5 years, we will shift that production bed.
Okay, and you were going to invest around 600 crores, right? Early 90s, you were not even in 100 globally, and today within the top 6. What are the key growth drivers that helped you to achieve this growth?
So when we started this journey, our main thing was we had to build technology, right? Now technology is not just know how, but also know why, right?
Okay.
It is not about understanding how to make a machine, but to understand why a machine is done that particular way.
Exactly.
So once you understand the why, then you can build the next product, right? So building the why is it takes time, right? Because it's understanding the science of engineering, right? Understanding engineering is not good enough. You have to understand the science. So that was one area that we invested. Second is if we had to be world class, for an Indian company, quality had to be better than the best, right? Not as good. It had to be better. So building the whole quality systems, the processing, right? That was the journey that gave us the Deming, yeah? Then the idea was manufacturing system, efficient. Where do we backward integrate? Setting up our own foundries, setting up our own motor plant, selective backward integration. All this took that time.
Yeah. From there to within the top 6 globally, how do you see the acceptance of your product globally? Because you have significant presence in Europe.
So right now, Europe and the US, these are two big markets for us. Australia,
and where quality standard is quite stringent.
Absolutely. I mean, performance, quality.
Right.
So the evidence for acceptance is when the same customer buys it again.
Exactly.
And we have huge number of repeat customers, right? So our challenge is not so much acceptance anymore, right? 10 years ago when we entered these countries, acceptance was the problem.
Okay.
First you had to gain. That barrier we have crossed. So today our brand is known, right? What we need to do is play in more games. And if we play in more games, we'll win. Yeah?
And a homegrown company playing more games in global market, how do you feel that?
I think it's a natural thing that we should do because the global markets are huge, right? We should be strong in India. This is our mother market, but we should take the message globally.
So you are making in India is, you are for decades. That when it was not even a concept.
But we don't make in India, but we make in India for the world.
For the world. Yeah. Absolutely, sir. Yeah. So demand match, that was when you were talking about the innovative technology. How is that approach?
So demand match basically gives a customer the ability to save energy without having to spend 30-40% on a variable frequency drive. Yeah. So this is a simple mechanical principle that gives them huge savings in power. And it improves the reliability of the product, right? So it is an innovation at the level of science, not an innovation at a level of engineering, right? So that we launched in September, right? Huge, outstanding success for us in India. We have already sent machines out to all the markets in the world. For this financial year, you will see the growth of that product in the rest of the world too.
Yeah, wonderful, sir. So now, to conclude, if I have to ask you, what are the key objectives you have to achieve in the next 5 years or so? If you can tell us 5 objectives to achieve in the next 5 years.
So our growth rate today is at around 12%. That growth rate has to go to about 16-17%, right? So that is critical, right? We need to improve our digital quotient, right? What I mean is not AI, all that is all tools,
right?
But the overall ability of the organization to be digitally savvy, all right? AI is a tool, right? If you don't know how to use the tool, it's of no use. It's only wasted money.
Yeah.
So the organization has to be digitally savvy. So we got to build that. The third thing that we need to do is what we have learned in the last 2-3 years. Chaos and disruptions are going to be the norm, yeah? Whether it was, Ukraine war, then it became the tariff, now the West Asia crisis. These things are going to keep happening in different parts of the world, which could disrupt this. Our agility to respond has to be increased further, right? The fourth is we need to build our talent, right? It's very important for us. So these are things that we'll be focused on.
And if I can ask you one more question, how is the ecosystem in Tamil Nadu, especially in Coimbatore, that helps nurture the business like yours?
I think it's the environment is the same everywhere. It's what you make out of that environment, right? You know, a lot of times people look for what they don't have and forget about what they already have, right? So we have enough. We just have to make use of it, right?
Thank you so much, sir. Great talking to you. As manufacturing becomes smarter and more sustainable, it will be interesting to see how companies like ELGi continue to drive that transformation. Stay with us for more conversations from Intech 2026.